House of X issue 5 heads to Krakoa, where Polaris wonders if they are any good humans. Her father Magneto says that humans never took off as a species until they settled into lands and never left, leaving them to teach mutants an important lesson: society. He tells Lorna that he and Charles talked about what would happen if mutants were not hunted anymore, and if instead of aggressiveness and strength, a mutant's greatest traits were creativity and ingenuity. As he talks, they witness a group of 5 mutants led by Hope Summers arrive. Eric explains to Lorna that gold balls can make are actually eggs. When they are combined with Proteus's reality power, injected with preserved DNA, and then left in the care of Elixir's powers to kickstart the cellular replication, the eggs become viable. Thanks to Eva Bell's power of time and Hope unifying all of the powers together, the 5 mutants can bring dead mutants back to life. After a while, the X-Men who died at the sun return to life, birthed from the eggs. Lorna wonders how they can still be the same X-Men, since these bodies are essentially just empty shells. But Eric tells her to watch, saying the cerebro Charles has on his head has been misunderstood in its use, and while yes it does locate mutants for him around the world, he uses it to copy the mind of any mutant, so that he could one day put them in one of the clone bodies should they need it. Charles does this to Cyclops, returning the mutant's mind to him and returning him fully to life as if he never left. He does this with the rest of the X-Men as Storm tells them to get on their feet as Krakoa is waiting. Outside the tree, the mutants have gathered, listening to Storm's speech about the miracle that has been performed by the 5 mutants. She introduces the resurrected mutants one at a time as the crowd cheers them on. Charles meanwhile knows he should be cheering with them, but knows mankind has still killed millions of them, and so many of them have been lost to him. He tells Magneto that the work will continue until it is done, and Magneto asks when the UN votes, learning that the Security Council meet in the morning, and if none of the permanent members of the team vote against them, the vote goes to the General Assembly that afternoon. Eric asks if Charles is worried, but he says today he isn't, since it is filled with nothing but hope. Storm finishes her speech, telling the mutants that the X-Men's death brought them a great victory, the first of many. At the UN the next day, Charles, Emma, and Beast and many other mutants gather for the vote. Charles and Emma talk telepathically about the vote, and Charles says that the Russians will be voting against them, something he learned from the French ambassador. Emma implies that she could probably change the Russians' mind, but Charles says that dominating their will often comes with a cost. Emma wonders what Charles is accusing her of, but Charles merely says that he and Krakoa are grateful for her service and what she has done. Emma wants Charles to buy her something pretty or make her a governor in repayment, but Charles wonders what he should get the woman who can have anything she wants. He does, however, have some bold plans in mind for her request to be a governor. 2 days later, Wolverine asks Charles and Eric if they are sure about what they're about to do, but Charles says an opportunity to change is what he's offering. Logan says that some of the people they are talking with are beyond saving, but Eric says that if that were true, he wouldn't be there. Cypher and Sage contact Charles, telling him they have inbound on their portals. Through the gateways come many of the X-Men's past villains, including Apocalypse, who says it's been a long time since he has been on the island. The island welcomes him with a flock of birds that all land on him as he tells Logan and the others that he once fought a war on the island long ago. Eric warns him and the others that they won't risk losing the island because some might not find value in what they have to offer. Apocalypse reassures them that it won't be a problem since for centuries he has fostered war, and now finally they are becoming what he always intended for them to be, so he is proud of the X-Men. Eric says that he needs to hear the words from Apocalypse, so the mutant says the oath and that they all submit to the laws of Krakoa, and from this day on they acknowledge that mutants will be one people. Charles is glad and wants the word to spread that Krakoa is for all mutants as he shakes hand with Apocalypse, welcoming the former villain home. House of X issue 5 was another amazing issue that explained quite a bit about the inner workings of Xavier's new paradise and just how he can bring mutants back from the dead. It's a fantastic use of 5 rather second tier, maybe even third tier mutants and gives them a newfound importance within the mutant community, kind of making them all messiahs in a way, like how they were treated by the crowd as like these gods among their people. I am, however, still getting sinister vibes through Storm's speech as well as the big gathering. It felt like a big cult meeting, like something like a branch British Davidian cult would do or something. It was very strange, and I still can't shake that sinister feeling. Apocalypse and the other villains joining them is really cool, and I'm interested to see if that has any ramifications with inviting villains to join their cause with like their deal with the UN and all these other countries, because I would imagine these other countries probably don't take kindly to people who have tried to, you know, commit genocide around the world or try and end the world a couple of dozen times to be fostered and kept safe in this new nation. So I'm intrigued to see what will happen there. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. A 9.